Sorry, Phil.
That's okay.
Sorry, Phil.
That's okay.
That makes sense.
I'll move this way.
Yeah.
From my small involvement on the commission, I recall, I think one of the issues was, the fact that it's kind of a pipe dream that we don't have the capacity to add anything like that, any kind of a commercial development like that. So I think, one of the things I know we talked about at the time, and I have not looked to see if it's been added, but just something to kind of mention that as well.
Yeah.
That, this is something that was a concept that, like you said, a lot of work was done on it, we wanted to include it, but that there is a reality also that we really couldn't do it.
Right, and there is...
With the current situation right now, it would be almost impossible.
Yeah, and there is a mention in the text that the infrastructure now would not support that type of plan. But that doesn't mean it couldn't go elsewhere. I think the attorney could say, developer, and that has a segment of the community. They can establish their own water district.
Right.
And that can be done. Difficult, but if you have the dwelling units proposed, or the commercial, that could be done. Not necessarily here, this is the Wasco district up in this area, but someplace else it could be done. So again, but that was discussed, and whether it was a pipe dream or not, but they decided to keep it in, and with the full knowledge, and the people that were advocating said, well, if the village board wants to remove it, then all references to that's fine.
And they just thought because it's all the way to 2045 capacity, say in the south, where the Mill Creek Sanitary District is going to have to expand both sewer and water for the 900 unit development. They could expand enough that somewhere in the traditional LaFox area, whether it was at the train station or elsewhere, they might have the capacity, even though we state very clearly in the comp plan that this village does not contemplate nor advocate ever to have its own municipal water or sewer, which would enhance more dense development. So they chose to keep that line very definitively in this document so that we're not looking for the traditional subdivision.
So it sounds like that was addressed, the way that we talked about it. I just have not had a chance to look at it, but that would be great if there was those statements in that.
Yeah,
that addresses a lot of the concerns anyway about it.
And again, if you want to enhance this, that's fine, but it says this area, again referring to the town center plan, this area is currently agricultural and without basic infrastructure, but it was viewed as a potential mixed-use development area described in the town center plan. And then there's a caption that kind of says the same thing, so it does mention the infrastructure issues.
That sounds like a good addition from what I saw before I left. So I think that sounds like that covers a lot of what at least some of the concerns were.
But I know there's a sensitivity for this 7 and the previous 7 I worked with on this diet, that you wanted to keep that semi-rural nature and that vibe, and that's why that infrastructure piece sentence was added.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I think Janet was first, and then Nick.
I don't think it's not a criticism of the Plan Commission, but I think that this debate over the town center concept picked up on an older concept and an even older series of arguments against various kinds of development in the area related to the capacity of Wasco Sanitary. Without regard to what the true capacity is or is not of Wasco Sanitary, I feel pretty confident that there are other ways to address the water and sewer needs of a relatively small mixed-use development in the area, if that's what we wanted to do. I'm not saying that that's what we wanted, but if we do, I think that we're foolish to pretend that we somehow can't do it because Wasco Sanitary doesn't have the capacity. There are other ways to address these issues without using Wasco Sanitary, and it seems pretty clear that if they can build a truck stop down the road on 64, again with no facilities of any kind, and manage to find some way to haul the poop away, I think you could probably come up with some sort of modest mixed-use development in that area. if we otherwise wanted to do it. And so I just wouldn't want to be scared off of that project or any other project that we thought that had merit, just because we weren't sure how we were going to handle the sewage aspect of it, because doesn't seem to me like it's a deal breaker in small projects generally. Also, I'm concerned about, again, you talk about pipe dreams. I would love it if we could keep our undeveloped land in the area and our planning boundaries agricultural for the most part, and otherwise relatively undeveloped. But we understand that's not really what happened, right? I mean, we wish that it would happen, but we understand it's not. And farmers will continue to find that their children and grandchildren don't want to run the farm, and that the people available to lease the land and farm it for them are fewer and further between. And so I just don't see it. I wish that I could see it, but I don't see it. And so it seems to me that the part that we're missing here is given a future in which you are not going to have those big agricultural spaces unless they're protected as open space, right? Or unless they become part of a farmland preservation program. I would like to focus more on what is it that we really are looking to see in the areas that ultimately get developed. Because there was very good language that was missing before about what's the name of it? The conservation design. That was not in the plan before. I think that's great. But I'm not sure that, I mean, is the vision that yellow space, all that yellow space out there, is that all going to get filled by blue spaces that are, the conservation design spaces, like what we're expecting to see down in LaFox? I'm not saying that that's bad, but that's not keeping most of it yellow. And so I think